Not wearing black for once. Hi friends, thank you so much for being here, and if you're new, hi, my name's Elise, and on this channel we only talk about cruelty-free makeup and other things, and today's video I'm going to be reviewing and sharing my thoughts on the new About Face The Performer foundation. This is available at Ulta and also on their website, so if you want to see all the tea on this new, very affordable mid-tier foundation, then let's go. So this is The Performer Skin Focus Foundation, and it comes with 1.08 fluid ounces. It has the shade on the bottom. This is a close-up of the packaging. It is like a hard plastic, it's not glass. And it does come with a doe foot. I got mine in the shade LM2 Neutral. LM2 Olive also could have worked. I kind of wish I got that one instead, but this shade matches my arm really well, but my neck and my face are a little bit more olive, but honestly, either shades I could have gotten away with. So here's a swatch of LM2 Neutral. I'll turn my lights off so you guys can really see this shade. So that's it blended out. It's kind of hard to see because it does blend into my skin. It is a very good shade match. So this foundation retails for $22. I think that's a really good price for a mid-tier brand. Honestly, About Face is basically drugstore pricing, considering drugstore brands have been upping their prices for a while. So I feel like $22 for a foundation isn't bad anymore. This is their description of the product.
So it says it's packed with 17 plus skincare ingredients to maintain moisture, help even and smooth the skin with every wear. It's a skin first hybrid foundation that's buildable, breathable, and wearable for up to 12 hours. It's cake free, seamless, with a natural soft focus finish. They say that the Performer is made for everyday wear that won't compromise your skin. It comes in 45 shades. It's made with blue agave, which is known to hydrate and plump the skin, balanced with wintergreen, known to calm blemishes, and chlorella, filled with vitamins known to energize the skin barrier, and it is vegan, cruelty-free, non-comedogenic, and non-acnegenic.
I'm gonna give her a good shake. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this on one half of the face with no primer, and then we can see the difference between the coverage versus bare skin. And then I'll apply my favorite primer, the e.l.f. Power Grip plus 4% niacinamide on the other side, so we can see if there's any differences between primer and no primer. I will say, similarly to the packaging of the Haus Labs concealer, which when I reviewed this concealer, I said that I didn't like the stopper or the packaging of this because it's kind of hard to pull out, and then you have to be careful pushing it back in. Similarly to that concealer, with this one, when you pull it out, it does have some tension right at this point where the doe foot meets the stopper. And if you're not careful, if you're just like haphazardly pulling this out, it will cause some splatter. But unlike that Haus Labs concealer, it's very easy to put it back in. It's just when you're pulling it out, it can splatter a little bit. I'm using a fresh sponge today. Why did none of y'all tell me that I had been using that Rem Beauty sponge for like way too long? I just had a feeling today, and I went back on my channel to see when I first reviewed that foundation and that sponge, and it was almost 6 months ago. I turned off my light, so we're only using natural lighting. I do film in front of two really big windows, so this is what we're looking like without any help of the studio lights. And of course there's no filters on my videos, just my phone camera, and the application of this has always been seamless. I've been wearing this for about a week and a half. I tend to get really dry around the mouth area, but with this foundation, honestly, I feel like for my skin, I do have dry, acne-prone skin. I don't need a primer. Like, a primer is kind of pointless, in my opinion, when it comes to this foundation, because this wears so incredibly well. And when they say 12 hours of wear, that is absolutely correct. It's giving the LM Beauty foundation a run for its money. I'm not gonna lie. I have been extremely impressed with the wear of this foundation, and with a sponge or a brush, it's basically the same. I haven't noticed any difference. Of course, with a sponge, you can get just like a little bit more hydration if you're using a wet sponge, but honestly, it applies the same. It never looks dry, and it melts into the skin so well, and it does very well on my nose. I've never had an issue with this foundation separating or lifting or just not being able to adhere to the nose. So this is without foundation on this side, and as you can tell, it's a really good shade match. I almost prefer to forego primer when it comes to this foundation because it wears well regardless. This is a primer that I use with all of my foundations and I use quite often. Yeah, okay, so when I just pulled it out, I did get a little tiny microscopic like splatter onto my leggings, so that is honestly the biggest downside to this foundation is the packaging, just that stopper function kind of whipping out the wand and like dispersing the product. That's literally the only con I have found to this product, but nothing to do with the formula. So I do have like some discoloration. You might have been able to see when I was just showing the bare skin, I do have like hyperpigmentation, like some darker parts of my skin. Let's see how good this foundation covers up that darkness. So lights are off again. So this is what this side with the primer is looking like. Now, this is not a full coverage foundation, so you can still see just a tiny little bit of that darkness I was talking about right in this area right here. It's peeking through just a little bit, and just a little bit of like some of the darkness of my spots because I do have post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. It is kind of doing something a little bit weird just on this part of the nose with that e.l.f. primer. I think in the future I would forego putting the e.l.f. primer on my nose when working with this product because this is so sticky, and this is not exclusive to this foundation. This happens with a couple other foundations when it comes to this primer. Sometimes it's just best to like forego it because it is so sticky. It can actually make foundations that aren't patchy on the nose. So again, on this side we didn't use a primer. This is what we're looking like. And then on this side we went in with my e.l.f. primer. I actually do prefer the side without a primer. Unless you have oily skin, I would recommend not using a primer with this foundation. I just don't think it needs it. It's extremely hydrating. It blends in and melts into your skin immediately, and it is almost self-setting, but this sets down more than like my REM Beauty foundation or my Hydromaniac or my e.l.f. Halo Glow. There is a slight glow. It's not a dewy foundation. It's definitely not as dewy as the Urban Decay Hydromaniac or the e.l.f. Halo Glow. It is slightly more luminous than the REM Beauty foundation. It's somewhere like in between all of those foundations. It has just a beautiful natural skin-like finish to it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup on camera, especially if you're curious to see how cheek products apply on top of this foundation. So I'm going in with my Haus Labs concealer underneath the eyes. I'm gonna let that warm up with my skin for a little bit, and in the meantime, I'm taking my Dose of Colors winged eyeliner brush, taking the spoolie part and going through my brows, just making sure there's no foundation or excess product. Using my Give Beauty Bronzer and Contour Duo, I'm gonna go into the cream contour. Going back in with my sponge, I'm gonna blend out this concealer. Before I apply the rest of my cheek products, I'm going to take just the tiniest little bit of my One Size translucent setting powder, and I'm taking this velour puff. I grab about that much powder, and then in the palm of my hand, I do circular motions and some patting motions to really work the product in. Then I like to back blend, so I like to start down here and then work upwards. That way I'm not putting the majority of my powder right in this area where it tends to look crepey or really dry. Now I'm going in with highlighter. I need to do another my favorite discontinued makeup. I've already done one. I will link it right here. But recently, About Face, playing in my face, recently learned that they have discontinued my favorite highlighter of all time, specifically my favorite liquid highlighter of all time, their Light Lock Highlight Fluid. They're not on the website, they are not on Ulta, like they're nowhere to be found. Oh, here's a swatch of that highlighter, and this is the shade Shaken or Stirred. Not that it matters because you can't get any you can't get it anymore, except, actually, just kidding. If you want a super beaming, gleaming highlight like this is like the most UFO attracting highlighter ever, you can still find this on the Flip app. And honestly, I think I'm gonna get a backup of this in case like they're really never bringing this back. Were none of y'all gonna tell me I didn't put bronzer on my forehead? Y'all were really gonna let me walk out the house like that? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Okay, to finish off the cheeks, I'm going to be going in with the Rem Beauty Hypernova Satin Matte Blush in Skinny Dipped. Colourpop Brow Gel in the brows today. Side note, my brows have been so unruly lately. It's like the tail end of this brow doesn't know what it's doing. Like, I'm trying to grow it out so it can be more like this one, but I'm just struggling like laying the hairs down. And speaking of discontinued products, Trace Luce is like not even a brand anymore. They do have like 3 things on Ulta, but if you try to go to their website, it's like empty. Like there's nothing there, you can't buy anything. But my favorite brow gel for the longest time was their clear brow gel, and I recently ran out, and that was like the only thing that really stuck and laid down my hairs flat, and it's no longer. So before I do lashes and setting spray, this is what the base is looking like unset with our cheek products. So for lashes, I'm actually gonna try out something new. I got these, like, press-on falsy little clusters. So I took one of the clusters from the short, so it goes short, medium, and long. I'm gonna attempt to put this on the outer edge. So far so good. That was pretty easy. No clusters. That's just what my natural lashes look like. And then this side, I put 3 clusters. This makeup eats, guys. Speechless. I'm deciding to leave my lights off for the rest of this video. So this is the final look. This is what the skin is giving. Per usual, I'm gonna leave everything listed down below if you're interested about like the lip combo or anything else on the face. Do y'all see that? Also, I'm just letting my hair, the hair is out today. There's nothing I can do about it. That is it for today. So if you couldn't already tell, this is Hourglass Elise approved. I have a sneaking suspicion, especially going into spring and summer once the weather starts heating up, that this might be my new favorite foundation. It's really that good. I will leave a pinned comment telling you guys about the wear test from today. However, every single time I've worn this foundation, it has been absolutely impeccable. Like my other foundations, I do feel like I need to set it or use a gripping primer to really ensure that when I accidentally touch my face or like wipe my face, it's not going to leave a blank space. This foundation doesn't do that. Have you tried this foundation? Are you interested in trying this foundation? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want more makeup tutorials, get ready with me's, reviews, and other makeup things, then like, comment, subscribe. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. And I will see you in the next one.